Sorry about this. One nightgown has really wide, I don't know. I have round shoulders today. Do you notice just the right one though? I don't know. They're both kind of round, but lately, like my left shoulder, I feel like there's something wrong with it. Like, I don't know, bursitis maybe, but it always seems some square. Like I feel like my right shoulder is just gonna fall right off. Good morning, Vlogsters. Grab your coffee and join me this beautiful morning in downtown Rolla. I don't live in downtown Rolla, but I'm just saying, if it's beautiful here, it's got to be beautiful down there. Every once in a while, I nail it. Jim does really good coffee. I know I've said this lots of times, but I think it's because he doesn't care about the creamer. And this morning, I just didn't care about the creamer. Just put in whatever I wanted to. You know, it's funny because when I say I vlog daily, I don't really consider myself a daily vlogger so much, because a lot of times daily vloggers will do, like, they call them art shots or these things where they'll just, like, I'll put the camera down next to the Keurig and you watch me make up the cup of coffee. I feel like I don't know that that would work for me, because I'm sort of a busy bee all over the kitchen in the morning. Mom gets up early and she has some sort of toast, and our new Ninja Foodie is awesome. And it stands up, but it has to cool off first. So it's usually the new morning routine is I'll come out, I'll open the curtains in the living room. When it's the winter and it's cold, I'll turn on the fireplace. If it's not, then I'll just leave the curtains open, unless it's really hot in the summer. But I like to get the early morning daylight and then keep the curtains closed in the afternoon, where the sun could be baking the room, you know, just to save energy, which makes me sad because then I like to see the outside. Anyway, then I'll go and I'll look, you know, and I'll start the coffee pot. I'll make my Metamucil. I go to the kitchen sink. I clean up after the midnight snackers and early morning eaters. Then I'll, you know, if I ran the dishwasher last night, I'll empty the dishwasher. If not, you know, I'll load the dishwasher. Like, it depends on what the morning needs. I come along after the midnight snackers and early morning eaters with, you know, like I wipe down the counters after their crummies. 9 times out of 10, we keep these microwave covers in the microwave, and legit, no joke, I'm the only person who lives here whoever puts them back when they're done using the microwave. But it's really funny because I wouldn't keep them in there. Like, that's not where I would prefer to keep them. I would prefer to keep them in the cabinet above the microwave, because I don't always cover my food. Only things that are going to splash. I don't like my food super hot, so I don't normally microwave it until it's like, no, that's how it goes, right? That's a technical term. I cover certain things like rice and pasta because, you know, they can tend to dry out and you want to create a little bit of a steam action going. But for the most part, I don't cover my food. So I wouldn't really keep them in there. I would just put them easy, that I can get one every once in a while. But my family likes to keep them in there, but never wants to put them back in there, which is difficult I don't know. Lisa just ordered, I didn't get to talk to her to see if she got it yet, but she ordered one of those new microwave covers that have the magnets that stick to the top of the microwave. I think that might be very interesting. I would love to get one and try it. I'm going to see her review on it first. If you have one, let me know. I'm curious. You know, just my face is cold. just my face. This morning we have a Walmart grocery pickup order. I bought a whole bunch of craft stuff. The DIY I did last night, I used Walmart rulers. I bought them when they were 4 for $1 during back to school, but they're 47 cents, and I mentioned it as 47 cents because if anybody wanted to buy them now. The other thing I forgot to kind of mention was that you could always get like this kind of dowels instead of the packets. People have mentioned in the comments, I don't know how many people watch the comments, but people have mentioned in the comments about how different ways to cut down dowels. Somebody said the Dollar Tree has dog toenail cutters. Somebody mentioned a wire cutter. I think the pruning shears works really great. But a wire cutter might have been nice. My particular wire cutter doesn't really get that big. I guess I could get Jimmy's, the one that I usually keep at my desk here that he took and is missing. My pliers with the wire cutters is missing. Just put it back where you found it. It's funny because, you know, we joke. You guys just don't get to see it. And there's been a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff. And I want you guys to know, and I know many of you know this, especially if you're here. You're my people. You know that I am 100% real with you. I mean, I don't curse because that's against community guidelines. I curse sometimes. It slips out. And then at home, I used to curse a lot. Not part of my everyday language, but definitely instead of saying ouch or dang. But now that I live with Mom and she finds it to be... Actually, I learned to curb it when I was at the group home because you can't really curse at the group home because they'll, repeat it and what happened and, that's not polite and all the things. But, for the most part, I'm myself. There's times when I come on here when I don't brush my hair because there's times during the day that I don't brush my hair. Or there's certain days during the week when I don't brush my hair. I come on here no makeup because I don't wear makeup. I come on here in my nightgown because I'm mostly in nightgowns. And I do this because this is the channel. This is the environment I wanted to create. This is the channel that I wanted to have. I wanted to not be another person who had to pretend to be somebody on the camera and to be somebody else, outside of the camera. That being said, how much of me and my relationship and my home life can you really capture in 30 minutes a day? We're going to round it up to 30 minutes a day, say. Now, I vlog 3 or 4 times a week, maybe even just once a week. Let's just say, but say as most is 3 or 4 times a week. So that's half an hour each time on average. So maybe that's like 2 hours a week that you see me chatting with you. And then I do DIYs and hauls. And, maybe the hauls are an hour a week. So now we're up to 5 hours a week. And maybe the DIYs, I don't know really what you can get from my personality, other than like how I make mistakes and I show you my mistakes, or that I'm funny, or if I make jokes or whatever. I don't know how much of my real life you can get from watching me do a DIY. But people think they know everything about you by the small amount that they get to see. And it's an amount we get to choose. Also, if I do something that, not that I'm embarrassed by, because I don't embarrass easily anymore. Honest to God, I'm not just being like, oh, I'm so higher that no, it's because I grew up in this body in the economic environment that I grew up in the economic standards that I had. There's nothing left to be embarrassed about. I wore sweatpants all through high school because nothing fit me comfortably. And I didn't know. And then, Lane Bryant wasn't there in the 80s. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I mean, it's nothing left to be embarrassed about. But, then okay, I forgot where I was going with that. I don't embarrass easily. Maybe I was going to say, but there are certain things that I just don't find to be appropriate at certain times. That's just my opinion. And that's just, is that me succumbing to social norms? Or is it just me trying to be a nice person and not offend others? Obviously, you can't do that with everybody. I try, but people have different beliefs and different values, and they say different things, and they see things differently to add to different things. But it's not going to be 100% possible to 100% of the time not offend somebody. Okay, so that being said, do I redirect my husband on my video channel? Do I redirect words that he says, or do I get him to not bring up political issues? Because that's another thing, and I'm not going to get on my political soapbox, because I have one, but I don't want this to become that. In 2016, my Facebook became about that, and I don't want my YouTube to become about that. I will tell you that I get messages from people, personal direct messages from people, and I will sometimes interject or include my beliefs and standards and whatever it is, or I don't really have a political affiliation, but the things that I'm trying to say, I'll sometimes include that there in a message. But I just don't want things to get political. So when Jim starts, like if we're doing a live stream, that's going to be posted on my channel. Not a live stream on his channel, but a live stream that's going to be posted on my channel. I will sometimes yes, please don't talk about political stuff on my channel. Am I stifling him? Am I controlling him? Am I being bossy? Well, first of all, my channel, my name, I am the boss. That's beside the point. Not in life, but just where it comes to my channel and my content. That's one thing. But the second thing is, no, I'm not being bossy. That's not the platform for it. I'm trying to keep that out of this area, of this arena. I'm trying to make it not be about that. Most of you don't come here to hear my political views. You come here to watch my, make a mess in my office. Do DIYs or live with limitations. And that's another thing. I don't have a disability. I don't collect disability. I don't receive Social Security of any assistance at all. Not that I'm too proud to do it. I just am not that physically incapable. But I do have limitations. I do have limitations that prevent me from having just any job out in the community. And that has been since I hurt myself. Since I danced at the Christian rock concert in 2011. I sound like a broken record, and I'm sorry. But ever since then, I've had physical limitations. I cannot climb up and down stairs like I used to. Run up and down stairs like I used to, really, is what it was about. I can't stand for long periods of time because I have my meniscus got a giant hole in it. It's just lots of things like that. I have arthritis. It's hereditary, and I have it, and I try to move. I move every day. Most of the time, when I start off moving, I'm in extreme pain. Like right now, this hurts like a Dickens. I'm not going to wince, but I just do it, and I do it, like exercise, just like physical therapy. Just move it a little bit more every 30 minutes. You just move it a little bit more, and this way you can get your hands going. I did hurt my thumb the other day. I don't know if you guys even noticed. I did a DIY. I had, when I was staging the mini tray, I had left my blue wrist thing on. I'm at the age where I reached back. I have those little tiny round clips that hold wires, those little round rubber things. And I have one stuck to the back of my table in the living room. I just reached back to put the wire on. I don't know what I did. It hurts like a son of a gun. And actually, it's what woke me up early this morning, the discomfort. But You get old, stuff happens. Um, but you got to keep doing it. You got to keep moving. You got to keep working. I don't know where I started with this, and I don't know where it's going. Oh, I have physical limitations, but I'm not disabled. Does my husband help me out with stuff? Yes. And because it's my channel and I sit behind the camera while he's helping me out with stuff, you don't see all the stuff that I help him out with. Actually, it's funny because he has done a couple of grocery hauls and has explicitly asked me not to come and help him with stuff. And I kind of joked about it with him last night. I'm like, are you like presenting yourself as a martyr who takes care of their wife and you're just trying to like build on that persona? Because that could really be why people are doing and saying all the things they're saying, which that would make perfect sense. But I don't do anything that I do for my family for recognition. I don't. I'm not the kind of person who stands there and be like, you never thank me for anything. The only time I ever bring that up is when he'll say, Jim's funny because he said last night, he's like, I work my ass off to make you happy. And I was like, well, when was I ever not happy? When you worked your ass off for me. And he couldn't come up with an answer. And I was like, well, then let me ask you a question. If you decided to work your ass off to make me happy and it made me happy, then what's the problem? I don't ask him to work his ass off. It's in his DNA. Part of what's missing is not so much that he doesn't feel appreciated, which is part of it, which I don't know why he doesn't feel appreciated. I said to him last night, do I say thank you so much? Do I say please, sorry, and thank you so much that you don't hear them anymore? There are times where it's like the end of the day, or if I'm really not feeling good, that I'll be like, can you do me a favor? We're married. If I can't ask him to do me a favor, hey, the same goes, do me a favor. I left my belt at work. Can you come and bring it to me? Yeah. Do I pick up my camera and show you every time that I do something for Jim? No. I don't pick up my camera and show you every time he does something for me either. But I feel like if you can't ask your husband for a favor, like he asks me for favors, then I don't understand. But I think part of it, I mentioned, I think previously before, is that he doesn't always see that. He doesn't always see. I mentioned a lot of times before, I was like, you think you do everything for me, but you don't see everything that I do. And obviously, there is 24 hours in a day, 7 days in a week. You're at work for 45 hours a week and asleep for 63 hours a week. You're not always doing everything for me. I mean, that's just like, first of all, absolutes drive me crazy. That's why I always say almost never, or almost always, or almost ever, because absolutes drive me crazy, because there is no absolutes like that. But I'm like, I've always said up to this point, you don't know what I do for myself. And then I realized that's not even the comparison. The comparison is for him to recognize all that I do for him. Because if he's comparing everything that he does for me, then I need to transversely compare everything that I do for him. And I don't think it gets not appreciated. I don't really care about the appreciation. I just don't think it gets recognized. I don't want you to fight with me or start an argument with me or feel bad that you're spending your energy and time taking care of me when 9 times out of 10, I don't ask you to do that. Honestly, that's a good percentage. Maybe 8 times out of 10. He just does stuff for me out of the kindness of his heart, which I love. But then when I do ask him the few times, it builds on his brain like he's done everything for me. Does that make sense? One of the things I pointed out to him last night was he doesn't take great care of himself unless he's required to take care of me. And I don't mean required, but that's what his brain processes, is that. So I said to him, I'm like, you come home from work and you really need to eat some decent food. He really won't agree to let me make him something. He knows that my nights are really, really rough. I'm usually very tired or in a lot of pain at night. And usually, not all the time. Like the other night, I surprised him because I made food right before he came home. Actually, the other day, I was like a pistol in the house. It was just like, I was nonstop. I paid for it the next day, though. But, you know, he comes home and he doesn't want me to make him anything. And he has to eat. And he won't even make himself a plate of leftovers. Like, when I'm packing away leftovers, if I want him to have leftovers, like, because it's like a smaller version of the meal we had earlier in the day, I will have to put it in a divided dish for him or combine it into like a bowl, like make like a rice bowl or whatever, so that he'll eat it, because then he can just pop it in the microwave. One shot deal. Unless, that's where I was building to, I can encourage him to make something for me. No joke. He would rather have peanut butter and jelly sandwich than cook for himself. I love that about him and hate that about him. I fear, the reason I don't hate that about him, I don't like the word hate, but I fear that if I'm sick or if I'm away, or God forbid after I pass, if I pass before him, that he won't be taking care of himself because he doesn't have anybody else to take care of. And that really makes me sad, and it makes me nervous, and it makes me sad. It upsets me. So I've been trying, we've been talking, I've been trying to encourage him to take care of himself better, telling him why I ask him, you know, why I ask you to make me food, because I know that you'll make it and you'll eat. Like, legit. I'm like, you hungry? And he'll be like, no. I'll be like, oh, okay. He's like, why are you hungry? And I'll be like, yeah, I was thinking about, I don't know, chicken fingers. We have these whole grain chicken fingers. Or I was thinking about pizza rolls. So he's like, well, how many pizza rolls do you want? And I'm like, oh, you know, I'll say 15. And then I'm like, you know, yeah, 15. And that's 15 was what comes in the individual boxes. So he'll make 20. And then we'll each have 10. Because it's he won't take the time to do it for himself, which is kind of like, you know. So some of my arthritis points and some of my things are getting worse at night. So I actually joked about him the other day, and I was like, how about I make all the breakfasts and lunch and you make all the dinners? And he's like, I could do that. I was like, nah, I can't, because you're not here when I eat dinner. He's not here when I eat lunch. But anyway, anywho, it's been a really long conversation. Yep, another really long conversation. But I just wanted to really come on here and catch up and chat. To see how's it going. I love you guys. I'm really, really trying in the comments. It is so difficult when you don't read, when you're not a reader. It's just so difficult. I love you and I love the interaction, and I'm so grateful that you're there and you're here. I just feel terrible. I feel like that, you know, like how I never sent out my wedding thank yous. We had all these plans, and, you know, it was a Renaissance wedding, and back in medieval times, the honeymoon period was 6 months, and some stories said a year, and then after the first year, you're supposed to be like, then I was going to send out thank yous, but life happened, and it happened, and it never happened. So I kind of feel like, always feel bad, like, oof, I never sent out thank yous. It's terrible. It's terrible. I'm like that. So I feel about with the comments. I'm like, oh, I didn't read the comments. It's so hard. And then you got to play catch up, and you're like, oh, I'm 5 days behind, 6 days behind, I'm a week behind. I'm trying. I've talked to a few other big YouTubers, bigger than me, and they say that they sometimes read comments the first hour a video is posted, and then they read just the top comments after that. But most of them don't do videos every day, so it's a little bit more difficult. Obviously, doing daily videos does compile the comments, compile and compile and compile. So you have to give yourself some grace. I know I do, and I hope you guys do too. But I've told you before, if there's anything that you need to desperately say to me, not desperately, or looking for like a question for an answer, you can go ahead and put it in the comments. But if you need that in a more timely fashion, then best to email me or message me on Facebook or on Instagram. That's the best ways to reach me. Okay? I love you. And as always, you guys take care. God bless. I'll see you next time. Bye.